to the Season of Self-Love, your daily dose of inspiration and encouragement. I'm your host, Nyomi Banks, and I am thrilled to be here with you today. This podcast is brought to you by Ask Nyomi and Elevate Me Self-Discovery. Are you ready to elevate your mindset and embrace the power of self-love? Well, have you come to the right place? Each day we'll dive into topics that will empower and inspire you on your journey towards self-discovery and personal growth. Whether you're looking to cultivate healthy relationships, boost your confidence, or find balance in your life, this podcast is here to support your every step on the way. We believe that self-love is the foundation of living a fulfilled and joyful life. And together we explore practical tips, insightful interviews, and transformative stories that will leave you feeling inspired and motivated. So join me Monday through Friday as we embark on this daily adventure of self-love. Tune in to the Season of Self-Love podcast to start your day on a positive note and discover the limitless potential within yourself. All right, good morning, good evening, good afternoon. Today is Friday, March 22nd, 2024, and welcome, my beautiful listeners here to the Season of Self-Love. I am your host, Nyomi Banks, and today we are diving deep into a topic that resonates with all of us on various levels, and is the incredible power of social connection and its importance of community in our journey of self-love and mental well-being. And today we have back with us our resident therapist, health psychologist, Mr. Will Washington. Dr. Will Washington, what's going on?
Hey, I am lovely and lovable.
Lovely and that's two good words for, social connecting and the power. Yeah.
uh, I tried about connection. I was like, where I can connect with that?
Okay.
Uh, I
Okay.
tried.
How was your week?
It has been amazing. DC is going to be beautiful. I'm just excited for this weekend to be there and really just enjoy this weekend. So I'm pumped. So after this, I'm going to be going out to DC.
Beautiful. So the thing is that with this right in hand. You get ready to go do some social connection at this
I am. It's going to be big.
stuff like this.
hmm
It'll be big.
It's perfect timing. It's perfect timing. So this is like the perfect topic to get me ready for this weekend.
Exactly, to kick it off. All right, guys. So this is what we're gonna do. We take a quick break, and then when we come back, we're gonna go a little deeper into this social connection and the power of the community. All right. It's your girl, D Goddess Nami Banks here on the Season of Self Love podcast, and we'll be right back.
Welcome to the Season of Self-Love podcast with Nyomi Banks, where every day is a chance to embrace self-discovery and personal growth. Join Nyomi on a transformative journey, streaming exclusively on Spotify and Breaker. With daily episodes from Monday through Friday, podcast is your daily dose of inspiration, motivation, and self-love. Dive deep into engaging conversations about self-care, mindfulness, and personal development. Nyomi brings you expert insights, practical tips, and uplifting stories from thought leaders in the field. Embark on a journey of self-discovery and unlock the power of self-love. Mark your calendars and tune in to the Season of Self-Love podcast, available every weekday on Spotify and Spreaker. Remember, it's time to prioritize yourself and embrace the beautiful season of self-love. Get inspired and join Nyomi Banks on the Season of Self-Love podcast.
Washington Wellness Institute focuses on healing always. For me, if I look good, then I feel good. If I feel good, then I share the good. If I share the good, then I celebrate the good. If I celebrate the good, then I live the good. So I can be paid to be my greatest. But I have to learn the good to be the good.
So, what does it take to be the greatest? It's as simple as a free 15-minute consultation. Be kind to yourself and heal always.
All right, well, welcome back. It's your girl, D Goddess Nami Banks here on the Season of Self Love podcast, and I am here with Dr. Will. Hey.
Hey, it is pleasant and powerful. Had to go back.
All right, so today we're talking about social connection, the power of the community, and to help ground ourselves and connect with the theme of today's episode. I want to start it off with a nice, brief guided meditation. All right. All right.
Mm.
Find a comfortable and seated position with your feet flat on the floor and your hands resting gently on your lap. I want you to close your eyes and I want you to feel comfortable. Now let's begin by taking a deep breath in through your nose, filling your lungs with air. I want you to hold for a moment and then slowly exhale through your mouth, releasing any tension or stress. Now let's continue with a steady rhythm. Inhale deeply for a count of 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold for a moment. Then exhale slowly for 4, 3, 2, 1. As you breathe and feel as a sense of peace and relaxation entering your body, with each exhale, release any worries or distractions, allowing yourself to be fully present in this moment. Now gently bring your awareness back to the room. Wiggle your fingers and toes. And when you are ready, slowly open your eyes. I want to thank you for joining us in this guided breathing meditation exercise, and may you carry this sense of peace and connection with you as we explore the power of community together. All right, my beautiful people, and if you are new to the Season of Self-Love podcast, this is something that we do every day, Monday through Friday, to where in the beginning of the show, we kind of ground and center ourselves and kind of prepare us for whatever topic that we're talking about. But today we're talking about exploring social connections. You ready?
Yes, always. Completely. I'm still coming back from the guided meditation. I was still slowly coming back. I was like, I am here. Yeah, I was still there. I was still there.
All right.
It was good. It was
Come on.
good. It was good. It was good. It was good.
Yeah, I had to do a nice little stretch through there myself. So yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, my beautiful people. All right, so we're talking about social connection today. It's about nourishing our souls and providing support with a sense of belonging that is essential for our well-being. So whether it's laughter, it's shared with a friend, or it's the understanding in a support group, or it's a kinship found within online communities. But these connections form the backbone of our social wellness. And today, we'll share some stories and insights on how fostering these relationships can significantly impact our journey towards self-love. All right, so I guess I will begin. My journey with communication, with social communication, has been, how can you say, it's truly been a lesson. It's been a lesson. It's been a lesson. I have friends that I've had that's been with me since my sophomore year in high school. We're still the very best of friends. We're like sisters. Then I have friends that I met along the way from then to now. And I've seen these friends come in and out of my life in a way that I didn't understand the same. Remember they only here for a season or for a reason, that saying. And I didn't kind of understand how those, how that went for me. Because my mom used to always tell me, be more of a friend than a friend is to you. So I never, so it was hard for me to understand when understanding what these different social connections is for me, meaning that I have one friends that I've been friends with since sophomore year in high school, so they know me, they know the AD, if that makes sense. All right. So then you have along the way, if you meet all these from now, I've created so many different personas and characters that now there are new social connections that's
Right.
came in, with me. Some stayed, some are still with me, but some fell off. So now we
Mhm.
in this moment, in this season of my time right now. And can I say this? The connections that I have now, that I've created now, has been some of the most rewarding connections that I have versus the connections that I had before along my journey. And
Mm.
and I'm gonna be very honest, one particular young lady, I don't even know what this woman looks like.
Wow.
I don't know what she looks like. She's called into my radio show. She's been following me, um, my career for years. And we connected on a way that in in through the different messages with that we're praying for each other. You understand what I'm saying? That we're talking through
Mhm.
each other from there. Like when I say she coming from the adult side of things all the way to now, like every that I did, not looking for anything, just we call each other Libra sisters. She's a Libra as well, Libra sisters. Never
Mm.
met this woman before ever in life. And I remember one day I woke up and something say, check on her. Just text her, check on her and write her a prayer. Hadn't heard from her in weeks, probably about a month or so.
Mm.
And later that day, she hit me back. She said, "Oh my God, sister," she said, "I needed that." I said, "Something just told me that I felt you." And she said, "Yeah, I'm going through something." And she said, I thank you for that prayer." She said, "I want you to keep praying for me." And she said, she said, "It's just amazing she said, "I watched your journey." She said, "I sat and watched your journey as a fan." She said, "But we seem so close and more connected, and I told her, "Yeah." I said, "Really?" I said, "Because we're looking beyond that." And this is an online person. Well, did I meet her online? No, I really didn't. I met her she's a caller to my show. I see her all the time.
Wow.
Thing for
Yeah.
sex
Yeah.
advice, love, sex advice, like that. And from there, it turned into a friendship that I've never met this woman before. Never met
Mm.
this woman before. And she just recently hit me up, and she's going through an illness right now. And she said, she said, I've rededicated her life back to God. She's back into the religion form. She said, "But I'm gonna keep praying for you." She said, "Because I know your journey is your journey and my journey is my journey. Just know that I'm always thinking of you." And she said, "I know you always thinking of me, that we're going to be connected in that way." So when I say when it's social connection, this is one of the good things about social media for me, that I was able to connect with some people. And there's a few other people that I've been able to connect with that's bigger than, that's been more in depth than anything for me. And now I've been comfortable with getting into groups. Before I wouldn't.
Mhm.
Before I wouldn't go into groups. Now
Yeah.
I go into groups for a different reason. Like I go into the self-love group. I'm now a part of this podcast group, to where you can share different products and review, different progress. But for me, the positive thing for me, or why I had to do that, is I had to go beyond my limitations to allow myself
Mhm.
to grow. And what I mean to grow is like to help grow these podcasts, to really put my voice out there, with these different groups. So you becoming in these social connections is more than just, for me, it's been more than just a personal thing. It now has turned into, for me, a business move as well. So I kind of use them both. Before, I wasn't looking for any kind of social connection, period.
Right.
Start to see those genuine connections come to me, and be able
Mm.
to, like I said, this one relationship with this woman, this like 13 years. Never seen this woman before.
Wow.
Never.
Wow.
I know her size and everything because she's purchased clothes for me, lingerie from, you know what I'm saying? Like all of those is sent.
Right.
But I've never seen her before. Never.
Wow.
Never.
But I love that though, because I think even social media has even done that, right? Like I've some of my best supporters have been from people I've never met, and they care about what I'm doing. They care about the movement that I'm doing. They care about these things and they're supporting it. And I get why now, as a licensed therapist, how we talk about conflict of interest, how they don't want you to do therapy for people because those people never take what you do seriously.
Mm-hmm.
Right, because they've abused the access to you, and they don't see you for the person that you've actually been and you've become, and so they never value what you've actually created for yourself. Right, I've learned the value of the 2 degrees of separation. I learned the value of having to have that separation in life with people to really have that connection and power.
You know what? Just that same thing. So let me ask you this question. Knowing that you are a therapist and sometimes do you give unsolicited advice?
Not anymore. I I charge now. So so yeah. And before I was like, well, let me just I'm like, well, did you think about it like this? They're like, are you trying to therapize me? And I'm like, you're right. And they still mess up. They would still do so it didn't matter because they knew me, they didn't actually take what I said to heart. They made it as like an option. And it's like, no, this is actually like the way it's gonna go. I'm telling you, it's gonna happen this way. And now when people ask me questions, I'm like, are you asking me to think or be your friend? And they're like, oh, I just a friend. I'm like, oh, okay. Well, with my friends, I charge $1 an hour to think. So $1 a minute, $1 a minute. So they're like, oh, $1 a minute, that's fine. I'll get your advice, And then before you know it, it's 45 minutes pass by, and they're like, dang, I paid $45. I'm like, that's still not bad being friends. Like that's still not bad. But people take advantage of the access of you. They do. And it's not because they're personal. It's just they assume that your friendship was the currency. And I'm like, friendship's not a currency. Friendship's not a currency, right? And so when you make your friendship cost, it makes me question our connection. So I do try to make sure they understand that the way I think is a reason. There's a reason there's a reason why you asked me for my opinion. There's a reason why you asked me for my opinion. So because my opinion is actually worth it now. So it's like I'm gonna respect my own self in that too. So
I'm gonna stop talking to you because you ain't about to charge me no $1 a minute.
See, don't use my words against me. We're not there. We're not there. We're not there.
Yeah, I'm making money on being friends. Like
an invoice, a bill. Around the back end. 32 minutes.
That's right. So as you were saying, I was like, damn, I'm a rich bitch then.
It's time. The price has gone up.
I'll be on those for like a long time. Like,
yeah. I always preface that. I go, hey, I charge my friends $1 a minute. They're like, oh, okay. All right. It's like, okay. Because the way I speak to you is going to be completely different.
Yeah.
Because the way I speak is when I turn that on, my words are completely different. And then that's why some people are shocked sometimes. So they're like, well, why would you say that? I'm like, what you mean? That's why I think well, don't you think you should be a little more thoughtful? Because I'm like, no. Like you do IT. Did I expect you to fix my computer when you came by? No. No. I'm not gonna make you work. Why would you make me work? Just respect my space. Yeah.
All right. So I just gave you a saying. You ain't about to charge me for this. I just gave you a saying. I told you my mom told me, be a friend more than a friend is to you.
To you. Mm-hmm.
What you think of that saying?
I love it, but if it's a preface for imminent destruction, especially in
Mm,
this type of world. So I love it because that's a golden rule, right? But the problem with golden rules are not everybody wants the gold. Not everybody really wants the gold in relationships, right? Sometimes you got to choose between convenience and quality. There's a
mm-hmm.
difference. It's a
Yeah.
difference. And unfortunately, not everybody wants the quality. Gold is quality. It's a golden rule. That is a standard. That is a beautiful phrase. But not everybody wants quality. A
Yeah.
lot of friendships want convenience, and a lot of people value convenience. And then when you actually give them quality, it makes them have to step out of the expectation of their friendship
Yeah.
and the connection. And so, and I actually made a post about this not too long ago about the difference between connection and attachment, right? And so, like, when you are connected, you are reaching an internal connection, internal desire, an internal awareness. Attachments like is more of a pattern or a behavior that makes you feel obligated and eventually fades. And
Mm-hmm.
so, I think that phrase is beautiful, but I think everybody doesn't cherish
Yeah.
connection the same way, and
Mm-hmm.
we lose the power in that because we
Yeah.
don't cherish what they actually means.
Yeah. I agree. I agree with you. I do. I agree with you. I agree
Mm,
with you. Hmm.
yeah.
Okay. So let's do this. Let's take a quick break, then we come back. Because guess what? I got some questions for you.
Ooh, I'm excited. I'm excited. I love it. Wyoming Banks. I love it. Let's go.
All right, it's your girl, you guys, Nami Banks here on the Season of Self Love podcast, and we will be right back.
This March, Ask Naomi. Bridging the Gap presents two extraordinary guests who are breaking boundaries and sharing their unique perspectives. On March 14th, join us as we welcome Brian Reeves, a former U.S. Air Force officer turned relationship coach and author of Choose Her Every Day or Leave. Get ready for an eye-opening discussion on love, relationships, and the power of daily choices. Then, on March 28th, prepare to be captivated by Curtis and Rennie Martin from the iconic Moonlight Bunny Ranch in Nevada. Hear her inspiring story as she challenges stereotypes and shines a light on the world of sex work. Don't miss these compelling conversations. Subscribe now and tune in to Ask Naomi, Bridging the Gap.
All right, welcome back. It's your girl, you guys, Nami Banks here on the Season of Self Love podcast. Oh, goodness.
You were there.
Mhm. Mhm. All right, and today we're talking about social connection, the power of community, and we have Dr. Will here, who's he gonna help us out right now. He gonna help us out with a few little questions. You ready for this?
I am helpful and honorable.
Ooh, I love it. All right, so the first question is how do social connections influence an individual mental and emotional well-being?
So this is one of the 8 health modalities I talk about. And so social health is about the power of connection. And so the way that you relate to one another is a way that validates and also brings out parts of you for the better and for the worse. And so you have to understand that the relationships that you make are actually reflections of parts of you. So each person creates a persona, right? The Greek term persona, right? And so whoever you meet represents a part of who you are, and it can express or take away parts of you depending on what that is. And so for me though, I believe that those parts will always bring things up. Even parts that you don't like about yourself, they'll bring those parts out. So if you have an avoidant part or a shy part, there's a person that helps bring that part out, shows you that. And you may not like them because of how they make you feel, but what they're actually doing is just showing you a part of who you are and how can you love that. And so that connection is very, very intense and very bold because you have to think about, with this connection and relationship I have, what part of what do they bring out in me? What do they bring out in me? And when you can really start identifying what parts of you that come out in this relationship, it really lets you understand how multifaceted you are as a human being. And it gives you more awareness to the type of powers that you do have in yourself.
Excuse me. When you said that, let me tell you where my mind just went to. It went back to all of my friends. Now I'm kind of going through and seeing, okay, so what did I get from that? What did I get from that relationship? What did I understand from that connection? You see what I'm saying? I've always thought that way, especially since I was going through my spiritual awakening, and God was revealing a lot to me to where, excuse me.
Yeah, take your time, please.
To where, see, that's what I get for doing that on a break. I was eating some sunflowers.
I just gotta acknowledge the fact that there was a lot of ice in that cup, and then there's no more ice in that cup. So you really drank that way too fast. Because there was a lot of ice in there. There's nothing left. But keep going. I gotta acknowledge that.
But what I realized is that there was a lot revealed to me on those connections in those relationships, that they were not balanced at all. That they were not balanced at all, and that in particular I saw what I was giving to them, and they saw that too with what my role in that relationship with them, but there was no role for them for me. And so it was like, how can you say it? When I disconnected from everybody, when I disconnected from that whole friend group of whatever, and I'm trying to make sure that I say the right words. When I disconnected from them, my disconnection was in peace. And why I was in peace? Because what I learned is that a lot of times we hold on, and I talked about this before, about being in a season too long with someone. And I can see in that process that I could have been a barrier for that person to grow in their season by us continue to have a connection, to hold on to each other outside of both of our seasons. So while you could be holding me back, I'm as well as holding you back, because right now we're not even in season with each other, but we're trying to hold on to something to make it something that is not. So instead of us just cherishing the season that we had when it was good, and learning from the lessons when it was both good and bad, and just move on from there. Yeah.
See, okay. I want to take that further. Right? I don't believe you ever lose anyone. I think you either grow together or you grow apart. And in that situation, especially, I've been in these situations before, and I find in those situations you actually learned who you actually are so well that you have enough of what that persona is. Like I learned who I am with you, and now I'm ready to learn something else of myself. Right? And then when you can't actually move on from that, you get stuck in an identity that actually was no longer capable and had the capacity for the next step in you. So a lot of times we learn other people and we learn ourselves, but we never actually get everything we need out of them because we didn't take the time to do our self-work. But once you really do your self-work when you're with somebody, you can actually outgrow yourself. And you have to go to the next person to help understand the next persona of your life. And so I think even in that moment, like you said, like the season, like eventually you're going to get stale with yourself and with each other because it's time to move to the next persona, next connection.
Yeah. And when I in this moment now and I look back to that, I said that's exactly what that was. It just felt like you're stuck. And you know how you always say you don't want to be the smartest person in the room. You don't
Yeah.
want to, because that's where you want to go and you want to learn, And
Hmm.
sometimes I felt like that was me. There was nothing else I could go
Hmm.
to grow from.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? There was nothing that was helping me to grow. So I'm steady,
And the conversations are always the same. There's always a pattern.
yeah,
It's always a pattern, right? I hate. I guess
yeah,
I deal with that. I have a lot of issues with that. Where when I have conversations, before they even start speaking, I already know everything about the conversation, and so I'm always like, okay, like I know we're gonna go. I know they're gonna go here. It's like it's a matter of now. It's like, well, what do I want to say to make sure that they get what they need so they can move on,
yeah,
right? And so like I appreciate being in communities where what I say is what it is and what I hear is truly what it is,
yeah.
rather than, oh, let me translate and figure out what this is. And that's why I'm so excited about going on this DC trip, because I'm going to be with my tribe of people
Hmm.
where what I say is the reality and the fantasy and the possibility and the opportunity all at the same time. And, it's, I call it an emotional privilege, because I'm around people that they get it, right? They're all people that hold space 24/7. And so when we're all together, we're not really thinking about holding space. We're just being each other, and it
Right.
just works, you
Hmm.
know. And that's the focus, right? That's the gift in all this.
Yeah. Mm. Yeah. Mm. You ready for the second question? The next
Oh
question?
yeah, let's bring it.
All right. So, in what strong social ties impact physical health and longevity?
Mm. So they did studies on the longest relationships, and the oldest people in the world had the highest level of community. So they did a study studying the understanding of ikigai, which is a Japanese term which talks about purpose, right? And they went to an island where the oldest inhabitants would be living there, and they were very active. They were in their communities. They were a part of each other's lives. They're all celebrating each other's 102nd birthday, 105th birthday, you know, and they were highly involved in their community, and they worked with children a lot as well. And so what we found is that it wasn't about really just like dieting and the exercise. It was about the activity of their lifestyle. And
Mm.
so, unfortunately, in our American tradition, the older you get, the less you're able to do, the less you're able to be a part of, the more ostracized you are in the community. But in Japanese culture, especially in some African cultures as well, you have a lot more activity from our elders. And I'd say this often: there's a difference between being an elder and being an old person, and we have to understand that there is a difference. And so, in our relationships as well, if your relationships aren't allowing you to be active and engaged, you will physically deteriorate not only the relationship, but the willingness to show up. I'd say that all the time. There is a physical health to friendships. I
Mm.
must see your face to be with you. I must see you. I must be in front of you.
Mm.
It is important for that. I have a lot of friends where, hey, just a call, a text, that's cool. But understand that when I get to my next level of success, I probably won't think of you. I won't. And it's nothing personal. It's just I'm going to focus on the people that I see in the
Mm.
stands, in the sessions, and the ones that share my posts, the ones that I will see you. Right. And so it's important for your friends to be seen. And unfortunately, we've been lazy about it because of social media and all these things. And don't get me wrong, video chat's cool. That's okay. That's all right. But show up. That's
Mm-hmm.
why it's important. I call it the three C's: cake, kegs, and caskets. So it's one of those things where it's like, so you got to have an understanding that to see faces, to be around people, it's important, right? So that's important. And I know keg is okay, but I call it a C anyway. But yeah,
So what is it? Now break it down. So since you said cake, keg, and casket. So I think I know what
yeah,
casket is, and I think I know what cake is. Cake is birthday, right?
Yeah. There's cakes at funerals too, but but it's primarily for like any type of celebrations, anniversaries, quinceañera, cotillions, anything like that. Any type of cake, any event that has a type of cake, you should go to those things. You need to be involved in those. Show up physically because it's important. You know, kegs, anything that with like any type of like favors, like appetizers, drinks.
Okay.
Those things that are more socializing.
Okay.
Events.
Okay.
Usually involves community events, and
Okay.
then caskets, of course, is funerals because a lot of times when you have funerals, families are the dynamic of a family is changing, and it
Mhm.
usually depends on who's present at that space. And it's a time to actually reset the culture of a family. If you're ever trying to change the culture of a family, go to the funerals, not the weddings. The weddings solidify what's happening. The funerals change the dynamic of those families. So if you want to make a big change in your family, funerals are the places you want to show up at.
Mm. Okay, I hear you on that one. I've been missing a few funerals.
You're like, oh, that's why that dynamic are, huh? I'm like, them
Mm.
dynamics is real.
Yeah,
Dynamics is
I've been
real.
missing a few lately. Yeah, because I've been in my own little bubble trying to, just get
Uh-huh.
it, before I come back out. And so I said this
Uh-huh.
year I was coming back outside. I stayed in for about a
Uh-huh.
year. So, yeah.
Yeah, don't let that bubble get solid.
It's almost there.
He's just,
Well,
like,
folks knocking on it like boo, 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 boo.
right,
Every,
right. I'm
every
like, oh, I
night.
remember it like this. Right. It
Yeah,
was like doom, 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 doom. Uh,
for
yeah.
real though. They be like, damn, I can't get a note. Mm-mm,
Mm-mm. Yeah,
mm-mm.
and that's one of the biggest things. Even right now, my family is going through a big transition. Our matriarch passed
Mm-mm.
last year, and it's been a very unique shift. And it's like we're waiting who's going to take over the next one, right? And everybody's kind of like, and I'm
Yeah.
sitting here like, I'm watching it all happen. And I'm like, I was like, okay, okay, okay.
Yeah. I see. That's my grandmother passed away eight 8 years ago, and she left a whole bunch of grown children. Like we were like,
Uh-huh.
like it's like literally, and there was everybody trying to still after this big 8 years, folks still trying to figure out who,
Who who's next?
yeah, who's going to move into that position. Who's going to
Mm-hmm.
in that position.
Yep.
Yeah, yeah.
Yep. Yep.
It's
Funerals.
it's it's a it's
That community is powerful.
yeah. It's a different. It is. It's what and as I'm on the outside looking, just looking like wow, you know.
I'm not saying I'm analyzing anything, but I sense apprehensive. I sense apprehension. It's just wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
that's it's
Yeah.
it's a wow.
Mhm.
It's yeah, yeah. It's a wow.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I understand. I understand completely. So that's why I think that, those 3 C's are important. And you have to ask yourself, where am I on the social pole, right? Like, am I someone that engages? Am I something that coordinates? Or am I someone that supports? And when you figure out what position you are, it changes the amount of burden that you may encounter.
Yeah. You know what? You're correct because I used to show up and support. I'm the only one that lived on the West Coast, but I would get on a plane, me and my family, and we'll show up. Like we'll come to family events,
Mhm.
do
Yeah.
all that, especially if I didn't have anything. Now, I probably could count on probably about one hand on how many times those I received the same thing from my family, from my friends,
Mhm.
but from my friends, those two girlfriends that I talked about, oh yeah, they coming.
Yeah.
And I got a group of friends of mine. These are my traveling buddies. They
Yeah.
show up. They you know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? They show up. But uh-uh.
Yeah. I'm gonna be very transparent with you. I moved to this city. I'm not from this city.
Hmm.
Moved to this city, and I have a beautiful home,
Hmm.
and all my family is pretty much from my dad's side is from this area, and never have they been to my house in the matter of 11 years I've been here, right? And I've offered. I even said like, "Come to the house," or like, "Yeah, come by," or like, "Let me," like, "Oh, you got to invite me." It's like, okay, like, or like at least, or even just come to a show, right? Like, I'm an international touring musician. I really like. I don't play in the city anymore as much as I normally do anymore. So when I play, it's like it's pretty big that I'm actually playing
Right.
here now.
Yeah.
And so like after 11 years of being here, watching me grow up, you never see me actually at this level of success. And like you live 20 minutes away. You're like, oh, that's late. That's a late event. I'm like, you're retired. Well, you have nothing to do next. Like you don't have a job. I was like, what are you doing? I was like, you're retired. I was like, you can come out for one night past the 10 o'clock.
Hmm.
And but so it's understanding that first you have to learn not to take it personal, right?
Yeah.
Then you have to recognize that they're doing what they know. It's okay. I love them.
There you go. Hmm. Hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. I just, I I'm just not I'm not going to be the one on the email, as they say. I don't know if you know that phrase, but I'm not going to be the one on the email. That's not my life. So,
No, you have to. No, I've never heard that before.
you ever been in a job that, you recognize like it pays well, but it's a salary position or it's a job and, a coworker passes away and then they put an email out like, "Hey, so and so passed. There's some cupcakes in the, thing honoring their passing." You
Mm.
know, it's like, and then the next day you see an ad up at their position. You're like, "Dang, that was fast." You know, they didn't even get time to grieve about the position. Their stuff at the desk still on the desk. You
Right.
know, and I told myself that when I saw that happen, I was like, that I'm not gonna be on the email. I was like, I'm getting out of here. I'm getting out of this. I'm starting my own company. And I did because I was like, you gotta be kidding me. I'm not doing this. So, I thought about the type of community I want to be in.
Hmm.
And I thought about the type of power and connection I want to have with the people I care about.
Hmm.
And I refuse to sit here and be on an email and then have my spot taken in a matter of 24 hours. So like I just know that like I'm not here to be a number with the people I'm connected with.
Hmm.
Know that William is in your life. And if I'm not there, it's not the fact that I didn't want to be there. It's the fact that we have to understand the reciprocity in this and know that like I'm also in a transition in my life. If you knew about my life, you knew you wouldn't take it that personal if you knew what I'm doing in my life.
Right. Right. Hmm. Hmm. I don't know if my folks live, but y'all know me personally, so y'all don't take it personal. No, I'm just kidding.
You're like, just to clear this there, just to clear this real quick. Yeah.
Right. Mhm. But no, I've been very like honest and candid of everything that I'm going through.
Hmm.
Some people are like,
Yeah, of course.
some people understand it. Some people are like, what's this girl crazy as hell? I take that. I take that. But I'm more at peace. Yes, I am.
Hmm. Yeah, and this pandemic really changed the way we have social
Yeah.
connections as well,
Yeah.
right? Like even being like on a college campus now, like I walked on a college campus and like the kids are not like they're not as social as they used to be. The college culture really isn't doing the same type of energy. It's very different, and they're learning how to value the community and culture of their own environment. And
Yeah.
it's like it's a whole shift. It's a
Yeah.
whole entire shift. So, I think it's important to just acknowledge the fact that there is a new wave of connection, and
Yeah.
we have to find the way we value our connection now.
Yeah. I do. I agree with you totally. I have friends or acquaintances that come in town that before COVID, before everything, I will hang out, like go hang out, even, over to my house. If you come to Naomi house, it's gonna be food, drinks, and the galore. We have a good
Hmm.
time. And I haven't been doing that lately. I've been wanting to keep my space sacred. Um, yeah,
Hmm.
with those trying to create, and I'm trying to find the word, but trying to. No, I'm just gonna be real because I know some of those connections I'm no longer aligned with, and I care for
Hmm.
those connections so much that I don't want to hurt those connections.
Yeah, of course,
You understand what I'm
of
saying?
course.
And so for that much, it's like, okay, I'll see you next time, or for that because I'm in the zone right now, and I have to think about me this time. I cannot think about you and what I am in your connection. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
and a lot of times we romanticize our relationships, our social connections, right? A lot of our social connections, they're so romanticized because we were so caught up in the experience that we
yeah,
actually never got to see the person for what it truly was.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
That's why it's so important to understand the community that you're with somebody.
yeah.
Like my psychology community is very different than my musician community, and like understand like what there had a lot of powerful connections are based upon the limitations of the moment they are. Like, oh, this is like I have a friend group for soccer, I have a friend group for football, I got a friend group for rugby. They're all athletes. That's all good. We all watch, but like I invite certain people for certain sports. That's just we value the game differently.
Mm-hmm.
It's all the same hard work. It's all the same grit for the love of the sports and sportsmanship. But it's just there's a language for it that we
Yeah,
share.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I agree. We begin to talking. We talk, and it be good. These talks, they do. They
That's
really,
good.
yeah.
Yeah.
Don't it, people out there? Don't it, I gotta find a nickname for you all out there. Yeah, really, I do. I gotta find a nickname for them.
Oh, that's fun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right, I got one last question for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, one last guy. Can you provide some practical strategies for individuals to strengthen their social connection and foster meaningful relationships for improved, healthy outcomes?
Yes. Three simple questions for you. One, why do you want friends?
Mm,
Understand your intentions before you make the intention. Two, what do you have to offer and what do they offer? And three, do you understand what season you're in?
mm. Those are some great questions to. Ooh, that's a whole nother show. Because do you know what season you in? How do you know what season you in?
How do you know? You shouldn't be till the end.
Mm,
That means there's blind spots on both ends, which means it wasn't an imbalanced relationship from the beginning. Check the intentions and
mm-hmm,
check your reason why you wanted friends.
mm.
And it'll save you a lot of stress in the future because you'll recognize that you didn't align from the beginning. Work within the limitations of your greatness.
Mm. All right, Dr. Will. I salute you again on that one. That was some
My
good one.
lady,
Young
my
man.
lady, my lady, my lady.
Your answer.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Mm. But no, on a serious, honestly, a lot of people that I've met on online has been amazing. They have. They've been amazing. It's another young lady. She's probably
Mhm.
one of my biggest cheerleaders. I met her probably about 3, 4 years online. And she she is one of those ones that she is finding her voice. And
Mm.
once she really sees it all, yeah, she's
So
gonna.
my thing for her would be, once you find your voice, now you have to find the people that can listen.
You hear that,
Not
girl?
everybody that hears you don't listen. So what are you really saying?
Say
Mhm.
that again. Say that again. Just say it one more time.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. So once you find your voice, it's time to find the people that are actually listening. Because just because you have a voice, you have to ask yourself, what are you really saying?
Mm,
Just because you have a voice doesn't mean you know how to use it.
yeah,
I know a lot of loud, wrong people. And so once you find your voice, find the people that listen.
yeah,
It'll make your voice hurt a little less.
yeah.
You shouldn't have to strain your voice to speak.
And with her, I believe she's doing the work. I
That's
see her.
great.
Yeah, she's doing the
Yeah.
work. And I ain't say that because she listens to this show every day, but she
Yeah.
do it. She take notes. What I mean, she take notes. She always
Hmm.
would DM me. Such Dr. Will said this, and she would use them even in her
Hmm.
posting. Like she would, you know what I'm
That's
saying? Like it's
beautiful.
like
That's
yeah.
beautiful.
And she would reach out to certain people, loved ones in her family, and and tap them on the say, I heard this, and listen, so you can, you know, I just want her to truly see the power within herself.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. I really hope that she not only finds the power in herself, but she learns the peace of that power.
Mm-mm. That's it. That's it. That's it right there.
Hmm.
That's it right there. You know what? Because a lot of us have what you call survival remorse.
Mm. Yeah. Yeah. That's a rough one.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And I was guilty of that for a while.
Hmm.
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 Yeah. Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, let me stop. Yeah, because I was I was about yeah, I was about to jump. I was like, my feet were on the edge. I was like, let's do this. I was like, let's do this.
Come on, jump. Come on, jump. Come on.
How about this? How do you define survivor's remorse before I go in about it? How do you define it?
For me, how I define it as um I've gone beyond what my community, my start of my family and my friends of who they are, and I've seen the world. I've been able to experience the world. I have a different perspective on different things in life. I've lived life. I lived so many different things to where when I go back home, that's just the same thing. As you say, the same stories, the same. So they don't have any other stories to say or tell. So when looking at me, I want to bring them with me so they can have more stories to be able to speak and tell. And so instead of me just letting them be in being able to do what I'm doing, I always want to take and bring those before. Want to take them and bring them with me as I'm going. Does that make sense? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I'm learning through my survivor remorse that I can't be the champion anymore, and I found that I am more powerful when I give somebody else the gauntlet. And
Mm,
so you realize that a lot of the power that you have is actually giving somebody else the gauntlet and giving them the permission to do that. And it actually makes you feel more meaningful than actually doing the work. And
mhm,
so it's elevating the royalty of that position that is usually deemed to condemn you. And so you allow the person to be the actual champion rather than yourself. And
mhm,
so I think that a lot of people don't want to give it up because of the idea of the power it holds on you. So it's really important to understand that you live through something and then you grow by giving it away.
Mm-hmm.
You give away the lesson. Once you give away the lesson, you can actually grow from that. So I always say you're supposed to give away your lessons.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of times people that are in that survivor remorse, they never let go of the lesson so much that they never actually learn that they are the lesson. So you have to
Mm.
make room for that.
Okay. I hear you on that one. I hear you on that one. Yeah, but that ain't yeah, but I hear you on that one. I hear yeah,
Hmm.
I hear you on that one. Yeah.
Yeah. That's why I didn't want to go too far in because I was like, then we got to break down the
Yeah,
ideology
because
of.
right now I'm breaking it down in my head right now.
Yeah. See, I was trying not to. I was like, we shouldn't do this. I was like, we shouldn't do this. I was like, I told you we shouldn't do this.
Wait, I'm like the little devil on your shoulder.
Yeah.
You're like,
You're
no.
like, come on. I could never go to Vegas with you. I would be so like, bet it all on black, baby. Let's go. Like, you
You're like, no, we're
sure?
gonna get
I was
out.
like,
Oh,
you sure?
you scared? Come on, let's go down there. I'll go with
Right. I was like, woo, I'm gonna crawl back home.
you. Well, as always, Dr. Will, this has been a truly, truly great one. But you know what? Because today is Friday. And usually what we do on Friday, is this your first Friday with us?
I think so. Yeah, because usually I would do Wednesdays and Thursdays, but we
Right.
didn't do Fridays. Yeah.
This is your
Mm-hmm.
first Friday with us. So since this is your first
Yeah.
Friday, what I usually do is do a nice little guided meditation to end our week, but then, bring us into the weekend. So if you can do us the
Mm.
and take us out, with a nice little guided meditation that thank with gratitude for the week that we have just went through and for the weekend that is coming.
Okay. Let's do this. I'll make it connected.
Okay.
So let's take a deep breath in with our nose, out with our mouth, and just allow our bodies to be still. Allow the wind to pass through us. Allow our stillness to be meaningful, to know that we're connected, to know that we are seen, we are cared for. I want you to think about one person this weekend that reminds you of your heart. Put your hand over your chest and just think about that person that reminds you of your heart. Allow Saturday to be a call of appreciation where you let them know that you're thinking of them and that you're proud of them the way that they've been showing up. Allow them to feel the heart space and the capacity you have for them. On Sunday, I want you to take that same person and ask yourself, what is the best part they bring out in you? And allow that to be the thing that takes you into this next week. A gift is only as good as you give it. Allow yourself to be a gift for next week by preparing the value of the connection you have. And as you take a deep breath in with your nose, out with your mouth, that person grows and is seen. You are growing, and you are all knowing that you are just enough, and you're okay, because you are safe, and you are kind, and you are trying. Continue to try, because you are. And as you come back, remember the value of you being a gift in other people's lives. you can come slowly back on your time.
Thank you. Thank you.
Of course.
Thank you. Thank you. All right, my beautiful people, it has been a good week. I thank you all for just tuning in daily here, tuning in daily. And as we wrap today's episode, let's remember that the profound impact that social connections have on our mental health and our overall well-being. So the power of the community lies not just in receiving support, but also is giving it as well. So I thank you for sharing this space with us and for connecting and for being part of our extended podcast family. So have a good one. Have a good weekend.